Hello, hello, everybody. Uh, Let me just fix something here. I know you can probably hear me, but not really what I wanted to do there. Um, Sorry about that. Is that better? I hope. Technical difficulties, right? All right. So today we are kind of concluding. Well, I think concluding. We don't know yet. Um, our ser- our series on Jasmine Pace. Um, and for those of you who don't know, her boyfriend, Jason Chen, was just on trial, and he has been found guilty. But I want to kind of just go over a little bit of background before we get into all that. Um, Jasmine was 22 years old, and she had been dating Jason Chen for a few months, right? And she had just found out that her grandmother had died, and she was very close to her grandmother. So she sought out Jason in comfort, right? She went to his house and, well, she was found in a suitcase in the woods a few yards from the Tennessee River near Chattanooga in 2022. Someone had put her body in 3 garbage bags before stuffing her in the suitcase in a fetal position with her ankles shackled to her wrist and arm. Jason's fingerprints were found on the garbage bags. Uh, he stabbed her over and over and over again, not 7 times, not 29 times, not 43 times, but 60 wounds. And then during the trial, Jason's attorney, Joshua Weiss, didn't deny that Jason had red rummed mace, but he said that it was a case of voluntary manslaughter, not premeditated red rum. So that's what they were trying to prove in the trial, is that it was just voluntary manslaughter. But guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm just going to say it. Premeditation can be up until the couple of seconds before it happens. Okay. So the minute that he decided he was going to do this, he was done for. So the family had all gathered on November 22nd at the hospital where Jasmine's grandmother was to say their goodbyes. And then she went to Jason's apartment, and that was the last time anyone saw her. So, I mean, it was quite something, right? Did he lose his temper? He says he blacked out. I don't know, right? I don't know. But on January 21st, he was taken to court. He was found guilty. Okay. Now this is Jasmine. Beautiful young girl, guys. Just beautiful. 22 years old. Should not have had so much life to live yet, right? And this is Jason coming into the courtroom. Okay. What I am going to do is go ahead and share a video that I think explains a lot. Okay. And all credit goes to Court TV. So let's go ahead and start.
22-year-old Jasmine Pace was found in a suitcase wrapped in garbage bags with 60 stab wounds on her body. Took a while for her family to find her, and police were able to trace their way to Jason Chen, someone that she had just recently started dating. And in his trial, his defense team said that, there was an incident, a fight, and Jasmine attacked him, and this was a voluntary manslaughter, and the jury didn't buy it. They found him guilty of first-degree murder. And so we want to show you what you didn't get to see over the weekend before we go in live for his sentencing this morning. So let's take a listen together to some of the closing arguments, and then you'll see the verdict.
Please affirm the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right, Jason. You have the choice today of whether to testify or not testify. Is after talking with your attorney and you're going through your own thoughts, what is your decision of whether or not you want to testify?
Not to testify. You choose not to testify. Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to consult with me, talk about whether or not go over the benefits and detriments of testifying?
Yes.
Okay. Are you deciding not to testify on your own volition?
Yes.
And that's what your personal decision is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Weiss. Any more witnesses for the defense?
The defense rest.
Stay calling your rebuttal witnesses.
No, Your Honor.
What's in the bag? Jasmine Pace. The court has instructed you on the law. And this case really boils down to premeditation. At 2:11 a.m., the defense called a witness whose name is Courtney Paglino Brewer. She was awoken by a scream. Lasted several seconds, she described. She heard footsteps chasing away from the bedroom towards the front door. She heard a female voice that she described as sad but assertive. The tail end of an argument is what was said. And then she hears the front door slam to Mr. Chen's apartment, not the interior door. She told you she knows what the interior door sounds like. She knows what the front doors to the apartment sound like when they slam shut. And it was the front door to the apartment. She hears sounds of walking, but what's very important is she doesn't hear glass breaking, bottles hitting the floor, nothing. 2:15 a.m., Miss Katrina Pace sends a pin of her last location to her mother. Miss Jasmine Pace sends it to Katrina. Now, there's two options, sure. But circumstantially, we know that it's Jasmine that sent that message, because there's only two options. It's either Miss Jasmine Pace in a cry for help, letting her family know where she is, or it's Mr. Jason Chen using the phone, sending a message to Katrina Pace, Jasmine's mom. For what purpose? To get caught? We know he doesn't want that to happen, based on everything else that we see after. We next move forward to 4:04 a.m., about 1 3/4 hours or 1 hour and 45 minutes after the murder. And what starts happening? Jasmine Pace is dead, but her phone starts springing to life. Exhibit 126 shows at 4:04 through 4:28 a series of messages. Mr. Chen then selects various items while he's shopping in the Walmart, but not before he sends this.
So it probably didn't matter that he didn't testify, but they usually tell people don't, right? I mean, that's kind of a given. But he was found guilty irregardless. And so then he tried to text from her phone as if he was her. Guys, this, to me, he's covering up, right? Now, if it hadn't been premeditated, if he really blacked out, I mean, I don't know, because I can't imagine doing anything like this, but would you then not just try to call the police and say, "Oh my God, I blacked out. Last thing I remember is us arguing and I blacked out. I woke up and this is what I've seen. I don't remember doing this. Oh my God," and calling 911, right? You're still going to be in trouble. But now everything that he did, when that goes before a jury, guys, that doesn't look good. I mean, come on. I kind of feel bad for the defense, right? I mean, they had to have known he was going to be found guilty. That it was slim to none that they were just going to go after voluntary manslaughter, right? It could have been voluntary manslaughter if he had called the police and said what I said earlier, right? That could have been. And that would make sense to me, right? Even though we don't agree with it, either way, it would make sense to me. But to try and cover it up, to do what he did, I mean, that many wounds, that's a crime of passion, right? 60, that's a crime of passion, guys. Handcuffed, she couldn't do anything. I mean, that's horrific, right? That's horrific. And I just feel bad for her. I just feel bad for her family having to go through this. And I encourage you, to go out there and look. I was going to show the trial, and there were so many people covering it that I thought that would be redundant, right? It's not like you need more than one person showing the trial, right? Or I mean, like several people, several creators. I'm just not into that kind of competition. I think it's really dumb, right? Recovery Addict does an awesome job at that, and I'm going to leave him to his expertise because he does a really good job, right? And so, and yeah, of course, I kind of got busy, but I was watching that and trying to do my other lives and everything. And then I thought, okay, I'll just kind of go over everything, what happened in trial, that kind of thing. And this video by Court TV just kind of sums it all up really well, in my opinion. So that's why I decided to show this one.
Good morning. Slept like baby. Made myself a matcha. In an attempt to create an alibi, he's not there. He's somewhere else. You must ask yourselves, is that a sick joke? Slept like baby? Sent to the person that you just stabbed 60 times? Is that the conduct of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing? They're just frantic? Or is it methodical? Does it show a desire in their mind to try to divert attention away from themselves? And we can see him in his disguise, hood up, blue surgical mask, driving Jasmine Pace's car. He does drop it off at 900 Mountain Creek Road. You've seen that happen. You've then also seen the ride share come and pick him up 9 minutes, 8 minutes after 8:41 p.m. Everything he does is calm, it's collected, and most importantly, it's rational.
Calm, collected, and rational. It amazes me how individuals that are found guilty of this, that they don't realize that how many cameras are out there to pick up their activity nowadays, right? There's a camera, between Ring cameras and security cameras on buildings and businesses and on dash cams. There is so much out there, guys. We cannot go out of our house unless you live somewhere that totally in the boonies, but the average person cannot go out of their house and say go to the store without having been on a security camera at least once, if not many more times than that, right? And it blows my mind how they don't think of that, right? And has it happened? Where nobody's been picked up? Yes. Sebastian Rogers' case is one of them, right? But it's rare. It's rare when that happens in today's world.
Everything he does is to a point, and that's to escape capture. Everything he does leading up to the attack by shackling and restraining Jasmine Pace is to make it easier to accomplish the act itself. That is premeditation. It doesn't matter that he didn't have it written down on some sheet of paper. Today will be the day that I kill Jasmine Pace.
I just want to stop it there, guys. Do you see all of this stuff behind this guy? Well, this right here is the suitcase that Jasmine was in. But all of this is evidence, guys. All of it. That was, collected in this case. And the most damning piece of evidence is right here, this suitcase in the middle. Every time I see a suitcase now, I think of Jorge Torres, Sarah Boone. That was the most horrific one, right? Cannon Stout, right? Awful. Awful. I haven't had to go anywhere since these cases have come out. And I got to tell you, I think I'd be looking at my suitcase in a little different manner. I can't help but think that it would make me think of these cases, right?
All that matters is he took steps to commit the murder. He committed the murder. And during the commission of the murder, you mean to tell me that during any one of those 60 stabs, he never once thought I should stop? No. Like the car approaching the yellow light, it was hammered down. Keep going.
Jason Chen and Jasmine Pace have been in a relationship on and off, as you heard testimony for about a year. On November 22nd, just before midnight, Jasmine Pace came to Jason Chen's home at 110 Tremont Street, apartment 210. It's undisputed. What happens between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock? There's no proof of it. We showed that he wasn't acting rational. Rational people don't shackle individuals and put them in garbage bags. They don't shackle the individual, put them in the garbage bag, and put them in a suitcase. Jasmine is angry. Jason, we don't hear that Jason's yelling back or that Jason's screaming at her when you're in the jury room and you are looking through these instructions. will be important for you to remember. It is the state's burden to prove each of those elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First-degree murder requires premeditation, as you saw in that first slide. The state has to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt, and it has not been proven. You will not find first-degree murder. In reviewing this evidence, we ask you to return a verdict of voluntary manslaughter. That's Jason Chen.
Juror 15, if you could stand and read the verdict. Chen, stand up your term. Start with respect to.
Okay. Now this one stops pretty quickly, so I wanted to show this one with Law and Crime. It just kind of shows it a little better, in my opinion, right? Nothing against Court TV. She was just trying to do a whole little overview, right? But I really kind of wanted to show and listen to the gallery, guys, when the jury reads their verdict. It's quite interesting. Hear that? They yelled out and they were clapping. Ew, because, they're not really supposed to do that. But I understand, right? I understand why they did. So, life without the possibility of parole, guys. That was justice for Jasmine, right? That was justice for Jasmine. Her father spoke. He had made a comment about how her loss is going to be felt not just for this lifetime or for her lifetime, but for generations to come. Any children she might have had, and so on and so forth, right? The loss is felt for a long time. And I thought that was a powerful statement, because you don't hear that from many people, right? You don't hear that from many victim impact statements, that the loss is felt for generations, right? And I mean, we know that her life is gone, and everything that she could have done with it, that's all gone, right? But generations, it's really something to think about, so yes, life without the possibility of parole. I agree with it 100%. There was enough evidence, and he did not deny doing this to her. So, plenty of evidence to prove that he did this, that he was the one who carried out this horrible tragedy and took this young girl's life, right? When all she was doing was going over there to get some comfort because her grandma died. Some comfort. And look what happened. Mental health is a crisis in our nation. I don't know. Did it start with anger? Speak when you are angry and you will make the best speech you will ever regret, right? And how many of us have known that, right? But it's not only speaking. Watch your actions when you're angry, right? But I think it's more than anger. Jason's mother got up there and was talking about him, and I was going to play that, but it was really difficult because the lawyer would ask the questions and then the translator would have to translate it to her, and it seemed like the questions weren't being answered. But the one thing that you saw was her crying, and the thing that she kept repeating over and over and over again was to give her son another chance. He was a good boy. He knew right from wrong. And I'm thinking, okay, if he knew right from wrong, why did he do this? Why did he do this if he knew right from wrong? Right? What caused this to happen? It's my question. What caused this to happen? Why? And, I think there's something that she wasn't saying up there on the stand when she talked about her son. Because there are usually signs, right? Signs that someone can snap. And, in all of the school dilemmas and everything else, the mass tragedies, all of that always ends up boiling down to mental health, right? Mental health in our country. There's always been some kind of red flag that stood out that somebody should have seen, right? What were the red flags missed here? We may never know because of the lack of correlation between English and, I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese, whatever the language there is, right? But I think that there's something that's missing there that we don't know about. Hopefully, he can come to terms with it, but he'll be in prison for the rest of his life. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. I appreciate you. I thank everybody for coming in and watching this on the replay. You guys are awesome. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at grannyscrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.